I'm getting married, and my 19-year-old sister is being ridiculous. She's very jealous of the attention my fiance is getting and trying to upstage her and compete. This all started when I proposed. I saved for a while because my fiance is a gorgeous girl, and I wanted the ring to be really special. When we first saw my mom, she was showing it off, and my sister got quiet, and then left the room for a while. She didn't compliment it or say congratulations. And the next gathering with extended family, the ring got a lot of attention, and my sister seemed sad. My mom ended up buying her a diamond bracelet with some sapphires. When I commented, my mom said it just seemed fair because she has my stepdad to buy her jewelry, my fiance has me, and my sister has no one. Then my fiance invited them both wedding dress shopping. She said my sister was sulky at the appointment and kept saying she didn't feel good and laying her head on my mom. My fiance called my mom at some point to talk about colors and the family coordinating, and my mom said my sister already had a dress because she couldn't wait and showed us a very sparkly, very beaded lavender gown. My fiance told me she is familiar with that designer, and my mom dropped some serious cash. At the bridal shower, my sister was sulky again and refused to eat. So my mom took her and left to buy her frozen yogurt because she was dizzy. The final straw was the bachelorette party. My sister and mom were invited to the dinner before the big party, and my sister wanted a $200 lobster. My mom told her that was rude since my future mother-in-law was paying, and then asked my mother-in-law if it would be okay if she, my mom, paid for my sister's dinner and brought her the lobster. The bridesmaids were lightly teasing my sister about how she is going to have to be my fiance's slave the day of, and my mom snapped at them very harshly that my sister doesn't have to do a thing. My sister ended up yelling that it is dumb that we were having so many parties. Engagement, shower, bachelorette, and wedding. So, pretty standard, I think. She said we don't need all those parties, and it is just an excuse for attention. My fiance was hurt and shocked. I just found out that my mom threw a party for my sister the weekend after the bachelorette. She actually rented a beach house for my sister and her friends, and paid for hair and makeup. To me, that is crazy. I called my mom and we got into it, and I told her she is enabling my sister's toxic jealousy, and if she keeps it up, she won't be invited to the wedding. My mom didn't say much, but sent me an angry text about how she has handed me so much, and no one ever did that for her. She worked for her money, and I will not tell her what to do with it. She can light it on fire if she wants to. I haven't responded. She also thinks this is fine and normal because my sister is going through a breakup. Not the a-hole. Your mom is right, and she can spend her money how she wishes. She clearly chooses to use the money to buy love from your sister. Your sister is throwing temper tantrums because things are not about her, and your mom enables it 100%. I wouldn't invite them to the wedding because I guarantee your sister will pout and sulk until she gets whatever she's after, and your mom will ignore your day and focus on your sister. You and your other half deserve to have the day be about you, and not a 19-year-old who was never taught to share the spotlight. Not the a-hole. Your mother is enabling your sister, and I really fear for what extreme she's going to go with at the wedding to try to upstage your fiancé. Not the a-hole. Are you sure your sister is 19? Because she's acting like she is 9. Let me condense it. Your younger sister likely gets more of the attention at home. Someone else is getting more attention than her now, you and your fiancé. This made your younger sister so angry that she is purposely sabotaging all events by trying to act sick and make it so the attention is on her. Your mother is clearly the reason she is acting this way. She is funding a lavish dress and weekend for your younger sister. My advice? Families get crazy around weddings. This wedding is about you and your fiancé only. I would personally not allow your mother or sister near the bride on the wedding day and set boundaries ASAP. Edit. Don't uninvite your mom. I'd have a very clear conversation with your mother and your sister that the behavior of your sister at these events has been strange at best. I'm more concerned about your sister's behavior and not your mom spending her money on her. And you would like them to be supportive of your big day, especially with your fiancé. My fiancé and I are finally planning our wedding because we don't want to burden our families by asking them to pay for the wedding. It's our wedding after all. We plan to pay for everything. And if anyone else wants to help, they can. We're not expecting anyone to help. My fiancé's parents are really well off, to say the least. I respect how they earned their money. And again, we're not expecting them to pay for the wedding just because they can. His mom's graciously offered to pay for our honeymoon. We say thank you and send them some details. We do plan to take 2 weeks off work, and the honeymoon outline that I sent them is currently set at 10 days abroad and estimated at $3.7K. And of course, there's room to change the plan since we have a whole year to plan it. His parents don't seem to have any issues with this, other than making sure we will be able to take that time off of work. Then, his stepdad steps in, saying, "We'll match whatever my parents contribute to the wedding." For context, my parents are not well off, but they brought us up with the knowledge that they might not be wealthy, but that they would find a way to make things happen. At this point, they have both said that they would help in any way they can. My mom offered to buy and make the decorations, and my dad is willing to throw money at things here and there. I tell his stepdad thank you. We'll try to find a way to make it equal. His stepdad suggests that I ask my parents to send us $5K, and then he will send us $5K, and we can do whatever we want with that in relation to the wedding. This is where the problems start. As mentioned above, my parents are willing to help financially, but they can't just give us $5K. I tell that to his stepdad, but he just doesn't get it. He says we need to see some commitment from them, my parents, first. This is where I admittedly lose my temper a bit. I say they are more than willing and committed to helping in any way possible, but I am not going to cripple them by asking them to take out $5K that they don't have just to satisfy a petty bid for equality. If money is this important to you, you can keep it. That's where I intended to leave it. But then his stepdad says, "We're not responsible for your parents' poor life choices. What's important to me right now is financing our retirement fund." Not okay. I managed to say, "Sounds good. I don't think we have enough funding to support your meals at the reception, so I'll go ahead and remove your 2 seats. Thank you so much for your support and generosity." My fiance also told them that he was super disappointed in them and told me that he is backing up my decision. Am I the a-hole? I'm willing to admit I was in the wrong. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing, and definitely don't re-invite them unless stepdad gives you a face-to-face or Zoom apology that you feel is genuine. If he doesn't apologize, I would for sure not speak to him for the duration of my marriage, unless it was at family gatherings or events, just to keep the peace. Even if he does apologize, I would never look at him the same again. And you got a good future husband. Not many people defend their future spouse, to their families. Everyone sucks here. Why did you uninvite the mom when it was the stepdad that was acting like a jerk? Not the a-hole. Stepdad shouldn't be so rude with asking your parents to pay $5K for him to put up $5K. Your parents are willing to help where they can as much as they can, and stepdad is wanting to make it equal when your parents aren't as well off as him. It would only be fair and equal if each set of parents were as financially well off as each other. Instead of $5K each, just put in as much as you can, as they can, or an amount that is agreed upon by each set of parents. Update. Stepdad was removed from the group chat, and after letting things cool as much as possible, my fiance and I agreed to not send any more messages alone, and rather discuss, edit, and reframe anything we plan to say to his mom, as to not turn the heat back up. This method was working okay, although I will admit to losing my temper. But every time we attempted to reiterate that the issue was stepdad's behavior, not money, his mom turned it back to the money. According to her version of events, we assigned the honeymoon cost to them while ignoring all other wedding costs. She defended her husband, saying that he was protecting his assets. Stepdad actually texted my father saying that I had asked them for money to pay for the honeymoon, and that I had indicated that I was planning to go into massive credit card debt to pay for the rest of the wedding. I guess this was supposed to prompt my dad to offer to pay for everything. I cleared things up with my parents and reiterated to them that I do not expect them to pay for our wedding, and if they want to pay for things, they can choose to at their discretion. Luckily, my parents had both previously written off my fiance's stepdad as a classist and narcissist, so they weren't too overly hung up on the insulting comments from him. My dad said that he would take care of the cost of the reception, which is our biggest expense in this wedding at $3K. I offered to split it 3 ways between us, the engaged couple, him, and my mother, but he insisted on paying for all of it. Of course, that takes a big weight off of our shoulders financially and satisfies stepdad's demand for commitment from my parents. But at this point, we aren't including stepdad in the financial discussion, since we don't even want him there. We're both pretty upset because even though my fiance's mother is much more reasonable and generous, she seems to be blinded by this idea that we're apparently trying to take advantage of their wealth. We've probably said, "Keep your money. We aren't asking for your money. You don't have to pay," at least 6 times already, and it just hasn't stuck. We've reworked the honeymoon to be much cheaper and plan to pay for it ourselves if we even still plan to take one, which isn't necessary. It just would have been nice. The bigger problem is that my fiancé feels like his stepdad is ruining his relationship with his mother and doesn't want to be on bad terms with her. Neither do I. Kind of at a loss. My mom was a single mom until I, 16 male, was 8, and that's when she met my stepdad, Luke. My dad wasn't around because my mom said he was an alcoholic and knew he wasn't going to be a good dad. He never found out about me until I was 10, and it was a whole thing, but he'd already been sober for years. Now I'm 16 and we're close. He's not just the fun dad, but also strict, and he was always upfront about his problems because he doesn't want me falling into the same things. Luke wasn't happy when my dad came to my life, and you can tell because he'd get serious. And then he'd ignore my dad when he comes to see me at stuff or my birthday parties. I don't get to spend a lot of time with my dad, only weekends and when I'm on school break or holidays, so I asked him if we could have more time together. My mom doesn't want to because I belong at home, so they're taking this to court right now to get him joint custody. The other day, Luke's friends came over to the house and they play poker in the kitchen. I came downstairs to charge my phone, and I heard his friends ask how it's going with the custody thing. He was just ranting about my dad being a bum, and then he said he doesn't know why I even want to go with that alcoholic loser. My dad was an alcoholic back then, but he's literally been sober for like 11 years. He's got his own business and makes good money on top of all that, so it just made me mad how he was calling him. And I called him out from the living room. My dad makes more than him, so I don't know why he thinks to call him a loser when he's made his life better since he stopped drinking. I left to my room mad, but I know it was quiet in the kitchen. My mom came to me after she told me I didn't have a right to embarrass him like that. She knows Luke was out of line talking bad about my dad, but I need to understand it's hard for him knowing I want to spend more time at my dad's than here. So I don't know if I was the a-hole in this or not. Not the a-hole. Your mom and stepdad are, though. What they're doing is called parental alienation, essentially trying to coach you to turn against your other parent, instead of letting you have whatever relationship you want. You are old enough to voice your opinion in the court. If you want more time with your dad, let them know that you are willing to testify that you want more time with him. This whole thing read as so painfully teenager. I hope you're the exception to the rule, I honestly do. But how this usually goes is starry-eyed teen hero worships the bio dad he barely sees, starts acting up and lashing out at his current parents in order to protect and impress real dad, whom everyone keeps hinting is a piece of crap without saying it in so many words. Then the kid pushes and pushes to live with bio dad until they give in and let him from exhaustion, so he'll learn for himself. He'll think he's won as he burns the bridges behind him and proudly enters his true father's kingdom as the real heir. And then the rose-colored glasses come off, and the kid realizes everyone was right. Dad does suck. Only he burned all those bridges, remember? When he emerges a decade later, it's to strained relationships with his mom and half-siblings, a stepdad who doesn't care to try anymore, and strict boundaries with his newly estranged bio dad. Maybe you'll be the rare exception, and your dad will be as super awesome and great as you think. But it seems like 99 times out of 100, it goes the other way. Everyone sucks here. He didn't say anything bad to you about your dad. It was a private convo. He is allowed to feel how he feels. You embarrassed him because you don't like his opinion. If he said it directly to you, then he would be the a-hole. Background info. I, 27 female, have 2 sisters. Lily, 35 female, and Rose, 33 female. Rose and her husband were in an accident 5 years ago in which brother-in-law lost his life, and she had broken bones and bruises, but not life-threatening. Rose is absolutely gorgeous, like supermodel level, but the accident left some scarring on the side of her face. She's beautiful regardless, but coupled with the aftermath of the accident, losing her husband, she's had self-esteem issues as well as severe depression and anxiety. I've tried my best to be as supportive as possible to her, and she's doing better, learning to be optimistic and resilient. Lily is engaged to Basil, 39 male, who has a son from a previous marriage. Basil and his family are insisting that Rose not be invited to the wedding because, apparently, Rose's scarring scares his son and will scare other kids there. Rose told me before she was happy for Lily's engagement and is looking forward to attending their wedding, by the way. I told Lily it was ridiculous to exclude Rose because 1. Her scars aren't even super visible, and 2. Even if they were, who cares? Rose has been through hell and back, and the least she deserves is some empathy from her own family. Lily said I'm trying to police her actions, and it's between her and her fiance who's invited at the wedding. She also added she doesn't want Rose there because Rose will find a way to upstage her. I mockingly apologized to Lily for trying to police her actions and called her a jealous witch. Lily said I'm out of line and she's not obligated to cater to our demands. My mom called me up later and said Lily had told her about our argument, and while she doesn't want Rose excluded either, it's Lily and Basil's wedding, so their choice, and I should try and be more understanding of their hesitance instead of going off at her. So, was I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, and Lily is not a nice person. If that were me, I would skip the wedding and spend the day with Rose doing something Rose would enjoy, maybe a short trip or a day spa, pampering, etc. Not the a-hole, but she's right. She can do whatever, shameful, thing she wants at her wedding. But you can control if you go, and if Lily wants both of her sisters to be missing from her wedding, then so be it. You would be an a-hole to go if Rose isn't invited. Not the a-hole. Good on you for standing up for Rose. Lily and Basil are being outrageous a-holes. I would expect the rest of the family to boycott the wedding if Rose is excluded.